Welcome to the Pregnancy Nurse. And who is nesting out there? I think that's a good question to start off the bat. I just did an organization course. If you guys don't know, I run a home organization course in addition to a prenatal class, because once you make a course, you might as well make a couple. And I wrote a post today on if your house is still messy, even though you're really trying, what should you do then? So anybody feeling that way? Like your house is still messy, even though you're still really trying? I think that is a normal thing. But do you guys have pregnancy questions? Ask me in the comments. Hello, I'm Hillary. I'm the pregnancy nurse. I've been a nurse since 1997. I have 20 years of labor and delivery experience, and now I'm one of the top prenatal educators online with email that just doesn't want to be quiet while I'm online. How's everybody doing? If you have pregnancy questions, please put them in the comments. And I would love to chat with you guys. Am I currently pregnant? Gosh, I don't know. Have you taken a pregnancy test? That's usually the best indicator for me. The light's a little bit better. I have to say, you guys, I pulled something in my neck this week, and I've had to, I get some muscle spasms, and I've had to relax during those, and it's reminded me how hard it is to relax during labor. Yeah. Planning on unmedicated birth in a hospital, but concerned about the amount of people in the room. Hands on mom, baby. Can we request minimal staff? Che, it depends on what your idea of minimal is. So are we just talking at delivery? Are we talking at any point in time? And it depends on what do you think is minimal? So at delivery, the bare minimum, doctor, midwife, whoever's delivering the baby, a nurse for you, a nurse for baby. I'm pretty sure that the hospital can be like, no, we have to have all those people in there. And you should want all those people in there, because if mom has a problem, the nurse needs to focus on mom. If baby has a problem, the nurse needs to focus on baby. So those are my thoughts there. Can you tell me my baby's C-section? I'm 20 weeks pregnant. Is it 2 now? So your first C-section was in February 23, and now you're 20 weeks pregnant. Are you is it too soon? I mean, it is what it is. I've seen patients who've had back-to-back C-sections and everything turned out fine, although I was kind of like, oh, that seems really fast. But hopefully you and your doctor have talked it over. The amount of time that they want you to wait between sections really varies, as far as I can tell. Ask me your questions in the comments about pregnancy. The time frame between finding out pregnant and first OB/GYN appointment, stomach is cramping. Yeah, I am noticing a lot of people's first appointment is closer to 12 weeks lately. I just think OB/GYNs are slammed. They just don't have the time that they need to be able to see everybody that wants to be seen in their office. So, but I think what we sometimes forget is that is the routine appointment. But if you feel like you need an extra appointment, then you can make that as well. So if you feel like you're having cramping, call the office and see if they'll see you early on. Yeah. Liz says she's 19 weeks. First, I haven't felt any movement yet. I'm cramping, not consistent though. So some cramps can be okay, because as your uterus grows, you might cramp a little bit. But call your provider if you have any questions. Allie, did I miss a question from you? Allie, I am not sure what you're in regards to. Lorianne said have GD and measuring almost 2 weeks ahead. Is induction before 30 weeks indicated? I don't know. You'll have to ask your provider. I'm still trying to conceive. My doctor told me to track my ovulation. All tests came back good. Yeah. So the average time to conceive is about 9 months. So even though it can be frustrating, it can be super normal, but also normally annoying. I'm just going to move that there. I actually don't know all that much about getting pregnant. I'm much more into once you are pregnant. So no tips today on how to get pregnant here. Oh yes, you said you're 19 weeks pregnant. Your emotions are insane. Sometimes I feel embarrassed and crazy. Yeah, things just get a little crazy when you're pregnant. So all seems very normal to me, even though it is sort of embarrassing and you feel like it is a lot and you're putting your partner through a lot. So many hormones and they adjust constantly to give baby the best shot. And sometimes we don't give ourselves credit for the fact that we have to then be a human while your body's doing that. You feel depressed. It doesn't last the whole time. Yeah. So, Allie, if you are having depressed feelings during your pregnancy, or any of you guys, talk with your provider about it, because if you are depressed while you're pregnant, you do have an increased chance of possibly having postpartum depression. And so your doctor may want to start you on something early or just keep an eye on it. Yeah. I think it's best to not like make any snap judgments while you're pregnant, I find. Maybe it's just me. Why do doctors push us for induction when they can just cut us open for a C-section? Well, C-sections have a lot of risks compared to just an induction, so they would much prefer to do an induction than a C-section. So, and their insurance would rather them do that, and the hospital would rather them do that. So that's why we would rather do an induction than try and just cut you open for a C-section. Yanks Doodle said she just hit the depression at 38 weeks. I'm so sorry. Make sure you're talking with your provider. See if you should get on something. Yeah. So I don't know if physically, if it's just that you're tired, which would be very normal at 38 weeks of pregnancy, or if you're depressed and like not wanting to get out of bed because of that. So talk with your provider about things like that. Any other questions? Anybody here considering a VBAC? I just wrote a post on the pregnancy nurse that you guys might want to check out about that. Yanks Doodle, you've been in bed pretty much all day. So, I mean, for most people 38 weeks pregnant, that is not super unusual because you're growing a human and it's just hard to like get up and get going. So you have to figure out what it is for you. Is it that or is it something else? What are early pregnancy symptoms? A positive pregnancy test. That's the main one. What can you take for heartburn? Usually your doctor can approve Tums, but I would call your provider and see what they recommend. Is it bad that I haven't lost my mucus plug? I actually didn't lose my mucus plug on my first two babies. I only lost it on my third that I know of. But I think I only know because I like turned around and checked out the toilet and it was so gross. I am not a mucus lover. Yeah. Also, if any of you guys are planning on having a C-section, I just wrote a post over on the pregnancy nurse about C-section recovery tips that you'll need. And so I'd love for you guys to check that out. Any hemorrhoid tips? Oh, not so many. I mean, tucks, they often have like a steroid suppository sometimes that'll like shrink them. But other than that, I don't know too many more tips, Yanks Doodle. Talk with your provider if they're bad, and if they continue to be bad, there is something they can do after baby's born. I have seen them do it. They like inject, just kind of how they do it with varicose veins. They inject like a saline or something in them and help them to shrink. But they don't usually do it during pregnancy because you have to go under general anesthesia, I believe. So I have seen a couple patients get it done, but not very many. Anybody have any more questions? I don't know if you guys know, but I have an online prenatal class for couples where you can get prepared for birth along with your partner. So I would love to see you guys come join me in there. And I actually have it on a birthday special right now where it is like half the price that it usually is. So I would totally recommend you guys to come join. If you guys ever have questions, you can ask them in the comments. Yazzie, do you mean you're ready for the birth class? Hopefully that's what you mean. Oh, somebody sent a finger heart. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have any more pregnancy questions? You can ask them down in the comments. Let's see what else I've written. I did talk about 7 things that you're doing wrong in your third trimester. So the first one is doing kick counts. If you're in your third trimester, I always recommend doing kick counts. If you're not sure what kick counts are, you can look under free resources on my site, and I have a kick count cheat sheet that shows you how to do them. Haley, sounds like you're pregnant with your first. That's awesome. Another thing is not drinking enough water, especially in your third trimester. That baby takes so much fluids from you. So I always recommend that you're drinking tons and tons of water. And yes, you are going to be BFFs with your toilet, but it's okay. You just have to hang out there because you're going to feel so much better, and it's better for the baby. Make sure that you're including your prenatal class just like in your life. A lot of people just do that prenatal class in the evenings when there really is so much more that they could get if they like did a little bit at a time. Yeah, so I'd love to see you guys in my birth classes. I always recommend people start about their third trimester, so that's about 28 weeks. One of the other things I see people doing wrong is just like sitting around waiting to go into labor. I think that can be a big mistake in your third trimester because you are just like, you got to like try and live your life and try and make things happen besides just waiting to go into labor, especially you're like 35 weeks. Got to keep going. Brandy asked, difference between evaporated line, fate line, progression, still very light. Don't know that much about pregnancy tests. I always recommend if it's not showing up real good, wait a couple days, take it in the morning, first pee in the morning, and try again. Is there anything I have to worry about at 34 weeks? Yes, make sure that you're doing your kick counts and make sure the baby is moving well. One of the other mistakes I see people doing in their third trimester is not preparing for how you're going to feed. So I recommend most people, if you have insurance in the United States, you can get a free breast pump through your insurance. I recommend taking a breastfeeding class, which I actually include a breastfeeding class with my prenatal class, just a very basic one that kind of explains how breastfeeding works, some basic latching things, how to know that things aren't going well. And then some people really enjoy doing a prenatal breastfeeding consult, and I recommend doing those with the breastfeeding mama. And I have a link to that in the post that I'm reading through. The other thing I see a lot of people not doing is in their third trimester is just tired of appointments. There are lots of appointments in your third trimester, and it can be really easy to feel like you can skip some, but please go to those appointments. They are set at times that are so important that you see your provider. Yeah, so those are 7 things that I see people doing wrong pretty frequently in their third trimester. Looks like lots of early pregnancy questions, which I don't know that much about. Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining me here today, guys. It doesn't look like we have 2. Oh, we have one from Facebook. I'm pregnant with my first. I have an anterior placenta. When should I expect to feel the baby move for the first time? Super normal, Dante, to not feel the placenta not feeling the baby move because the placenta is blunting a lot of those kicks by it being in the front of your uterus. So usually it's about 20 weeks, but since it's your first baby, you may not feel it till like 25 weeks. Make sure you're talking with your provider about what you should be feeling for, how baby's doing, things like that. That is tough though. Having an anterior placenta, I really feel for you. Somebody asked, what are some ways to induce labor in your third trimester? The main ways to induce labor are the ones that we use in the hospital. So there really isn't anything that can make you go into labor after just doing like one time, as far as the studies show. So even raspberry tea, which a lot of people talk about on my page, studies do not show that it helps you to go into labor any faster or less chance of an induction or things like that. Membrane sweep, although the membrane sweep data is it varies quite a bit. So if you don't mind a membrane sweep, I think it can be worth it if you're ready to have your baby, but not always. And if you go to the pregnancy nurse, I have an article on membrane sweeps that you might want to check out that has some of the studies about it. All right, so I am Hillary. I'm the creator of the online prenatal class for couples. I would love to see you guys inside. It is the easy way to get prepared for birth. And if you join me in the bundle, there is a breastfeeding class, nutrition, baby care, baby sleep, provider or tips with your partner, lots of things that can really help you out. If you guys ever have questions, you can ask me in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for coming to my live, and we'll see you later. Bye.